Hello, welcome to my recording of GGP Classic Mahjong event. I'm going to do this. I'm going to commentate for the other classic one because I did actually well in the classic event. I was a bit crap in the others. There are better players. There's plenty of other content, but classic's a little bit niche, so I thought it would be good to talk about it. And plus, this one in particular, the rules of the Mahjong event were so esoteric. I think they need it'd be interesting to go through my thinking. Now, the text came up at the start, but it was probably too quick. But the way it works, what it was supposed to work was the bottom two for each. So there's 4 rounds of preliminary rounds, and then there was 4 CMPs in the final if you got there. And the way each preliminary round worked was that the bottom 2 would be knocked out firstly, and secondly that you would have to use a different machine to the one that you've used before. So once you've used Fox, you can't use Fox again, for example. Now, the first round, it's supposed to have 8, but as you can see, only 4 people were there, so everyone got through, and it kind of didn't matter. And I went with Fox for the first round because, in theory, it's easier to survive 6 out, be top 6 in an 8-man field where some of the players might be a little less experienced than later on when it's actually only 4, so you've got to be top 2 out of 4, and all those players are probably going to be really good because they've got all the way around. So part of the challenge is trying to balance which machine to use and when. This will make more sense as we go on. I don't know if I'll survive. It does get better. This is a pretty exciting event by the end, but certainly the start, I think maybe a check-in period would have been useful, which kind of just jumped into it. I think some people weren't around, unfortunately, but that's okay. This is fine. We're now into the second round, and here it starts. It already starts to get pretty competitive. We've got Calt, Ghost, Gears, and DSK. Certainly Calt and DSK, who is Fox at the back. He's pretty well known as a Fox main in Classic. For whatever reason, he decides to play Fox. Credit to him. And there's Calt as well, who's obviously well known. He's won events. He streams a lot. And there's Gears and Ghost. They're both pretty good. And then Lee Paxor, who is maybe a little less experienced, but it's actually pretty good. And this kind of shows off the dynamic, actually. So we have all the most confident players in either Goose or Fox, which are deemed to be a little weaker. I wouldn't say Goose is that weak, but certainly Fox is pretty weak. And DSK is using Fox now, and if everyone's in the same machine, you'd expect the same players to win. But if you're going Fox, and weaker players are going Ray, for example, you can get burnt by that. You can actually find yourself losing to players you'd expect to win because of the machine matchup. So that's the whole sort of dynamic you have to try and get. And there's luck as well. So we don't know the tracks until we start, and that's very particularly relevant because when we were going through and starting lobbies, it was just started basically all at once or one after the other, and we couldn't tell what the tracks were going to be. So there's no way of predicting. We could maybe guess, but we couldn't be sure. Plus, the bot doesn't work the same during the event weekend. For what it's worth, the bot in the this Mahjong event is ran by the F0 Discord. So there's a little bot there that tells you what the actual CMP tracks are going to be. So we didn't know. So we're picking a machine based on a number of factors, the other players there, and also what we feel comfortable with, and also what we want to maintain. So we definitely want to get rid of Fox early. That was fine. Then the second and third rounds, we're kind of thinking, well, we probably want to save. Well, certainly I was thinking, want to save Falcon, not because Goose is bad or Ray is bad, but in a field with maybe very few players, it's hard to get back bumps, and it's more likely that if everyone else picks a different machine, so if you're in a lobby of 6 people, as this is, and you're the one Ray and everyone else is Falcon, you're going to find yourself, struggling to actually depending on the track. So that kind of dynamic will make more sense in the next round, but I went with Boost because I'd rather save Falcon and Ray for later. And just so happens this set of tracks is extremely strong for Fox. These first two certainly. And I finished 4th after a big mistake because I hit that bumper. So that's okay. I only need to finish top 4, so 4th is fine. So it's very unfortunate for Elite Haxor. Like that could have been Sand Ocean, you know, Big Blue 2, and Red Canyon 2, and suddenly maybe he wins. You know, that's the kind of luck factor to it. So Sandstorm 1 again. Goose is pretty. It's kind of equally. It's not really bad at anything, but it's not really that good at anything. So it's kind of middle of the road, which is what you want. You don't want to be burnt by tracks that is very, very hard for your machine. And looking at the field, so the way I'm thinking about it, I know Calt's really good. I know DSK is really good. I'm not really worried about beating them. I only need to be top 4, so I'm worried about beating the other 3, or at least 2 of the other 3. So getting a good start like this is great. But we see how this is like just a really strong Fox track, and one of the things that you kind of notice is really good players. Like there's lots of good players who can play some machines, but the really good players can play Fox. Fox is not really slow, but it's really awkward. It slides very strange, and you really only find very few players who can play it well, and obviously DSK is one of them. So they're goes these hacks. So again, different tracks. Even though he's certainly the least experienced, different set of tracks. It could have been very different. But this, yeah, I'm just very happy to keep the other geese behind me. Yeah, just no drama. Yeah, so I'm not even taking the inside line. Again, I'm not. This isn't like Classic Royale. It might be a little more aggressive, but certainly for something like this, I just need to finish top 4, so I'm not going to worry about being perfect. Make no big errors. I'll be fine. I think Cal does catch up, but doesn't overtake, so that's pretty good. Yeah, let me try and just skip that. Yeah, so 3rd, 20 points ahead of 5th, so that's strong. I think I can finish 3rd and be guaranteed, or 4th, I'm not sure. But Gears needs to win for that to be the case, so I'm pretty confident that I can get away with it. But yeah, these 3 tracks are just so strong for Fox, so it's kind of funny. I mean, as a thing, that there are some track selections where you'd back Fox to survive in a 4. So when you get to the 4th round, it's 4 players, so top 2 gets through. There are a few tracks where you'd expect the Fox actually to be top 2, and certainly in the hands of a very capable Fox guy. But you don't want to. Do you want to make that gamble, right? Do you want to gamble that you're going to get, say, 3 finale tracks which are very strong for Fox? So that's Silence, Whiteland 2, and Firefield. But I got another huge start. I mean, I think Classic has a reputation, a certain reputation I gave it, that it's really all about the start and it's all about luck, but it's not. I find that when I was looking at other players who sort of maybe didn't do so well, and you kind of see them make, like, that's a big mistake. Like, to be fair, that's a pretty bad mistake. You can't really do that, but a lot of the time, when people make mistakes, that's true. Anything, you can usually see when they're trying to blame something else, it's actually something that they have control over. So you're not going to get lucky all the time. I don't get lucky all the time, but it's how you react to it and how you recover that matters. So I think, yeah, I avoid the jump. So that's, again, I don't need to win. DSK can take his 300 points. He probably deserves it, I think, you know. Fox main getting a moment of glory. But yeah, I mean, where's everyone else, you know? I can't really, I mean, that was very promising. I just had a good start, but I didn't really make any mistakes, well, except like one. And it was pretty quick. So that, after the slightly hairy Mute City, I'm able to survive. So hold on, we don't want to. We're waiting for the freaking computer to finish. Yeah, so there we go. So the top 4: DSK, Dillion, Count, and Ghost. And then we have Poor Gears missing out by 5 points, and then Lead Taxer another 20 points behind. So so Ghost. So you know, it's getting competitive. Certainly, that lobby went the way you'd expect based on the experience. But it's, you know, well, it's only going to get harder from here. So round 3, top 2 advance for me only. Ray or Falcon left. CMB tracks blind. That's phrasing. I only have Falcon or Ray left. So this is where I'm changing machine in the hope somebody reacts, but nobody cares. I'm trying to bait them, because I didn't know what to do. So I would be a little comfortable with Falcon and Ray. I don't like playing Ray because you make a mistake lap 1 and that's that. So I actually don't like that pressure, believe it or not. I prefer Goose and Falcon. So I'm thinking, do I want to go head to head with Herbie in a Ray, or do I want to go head to head with Falcon and Revere? Now I would rather beat in Falcon, but I also want to save the Falcon for the next round. So I go for Ray and aim to beat Herbie. Herbie won the Experts for GGP Classic last time, so he's actually won something. I've never won it. You know, I rarely win. I rarely win anything. Obviously odd races, but not like big events, even small events. So it made, even though I was trying to save the machine that I would have liked to use here for the next one, because I just felt it was stronger. But and then those tracks that came up, very strong Falcon tracks, very weak Ray tracks. Particularly this one. This is maybe, again, we saw it with DSK. How he won is he swept his Fox, and this was the first one. Any other Mute City, any other starter track actually, because Big Blue can start and Sandosh can start. Fox is dead, so he got pretty lucky there, and I think Rio gets pretty lucky. So Rio is the Falcon, and there's Alien as well. So between the 4 of us, Alien is the least experienced, but he is actually pretty good. Experience counts for a lot, but as you can see, look, he's cutting that corner better. I can't cut that corner. Alien is cutting it better than me. I mean, you can see, right? So if you know how the elite rankings work, Alien isn't yet elite. So I'm sure he will be if he plays like this. But I think Rio and Herbie are both elites, so and there's no doubting their experience. So once again, I'm just taking the wrong line, and I'm not able to cut the distance and get past him. But then I think I edge him out the way. Yeah, who knows how netcode is a mystery. Yeah, I sort of tapped the wall there, but so that any 3 of us can actually win it, but we actually get it. I'm not sure what happened. I think they got in each other's way at the last corner. So second, that's par. I just need to get second. Top 2 survives. So I think the second track is Portal 1, which is kind of balanced. Falcon needs a good first lap though. It's kind of the eternal logic of Classic. You need a good first lap. Yeah, I can skip. Okay, so start at the front. That's pretty good. The thing about starting at the front versus the back in Classic is that you get off the line faster when you start at the back. So even though you might always want to be at the front. If you're at the back, so at the front you want to get a back bump. At the back, if you can avoid going into someone, you can actually fly past them and actually turn a bad, what looks like a bad start into a good start. Particularly if you're Falcon or Fox. So there is a few cases where players do that. Not necessarily here, but in I'm thinking of a few cases, at least one case in the Classic Royale. So there's this event, which is there's these very interesting rules, where you're kind of forced to use every machine, and it's knockout elimination. And then there was just the 8 CMPs, you know, and just count the points at the end. Where I was in Master, which was a surprise actually to be sorted there. But so yeah, so what happens at first lap? Rio had a really bad lap. I think the bots got in his way, and he wasn't able to build anything of a lead. So he's actually fighting a Alien, which is perfect. I can't really catch Herbie unless he makes a mistake, and he's not going to, I think. So it's a question of, can Alien take points off Ryu and, you know, put me and Herbie in the driving seat. So 2 seconds, and yeah, Alien apparently made a mistake, I think. I think that's what he said. But that means if you're big maths guys, Herbie went third and first, I went second twice, and Ryu went first and third. That means there's a three-way tie going into the final race. Pretty good. Into Silence 2. So this is kind of a balanced track, but I would certainly say it favours Falcon over Ray. It depends again. All depends on the first lap. So Alien probably needs a little bit of luck to overturn a deficit, but it's not impossible. He's not totally out of it. So I get a great first lap. I squeak past Herbie. Alien takes a weird line and he's kind of disappeared at this point. So the obvious thing to do at this point is not to fight. The Rays don't fight, we just reel in the Falcon and don't worry about it. But as you can see, it gets very a lot of trading back and forth. I think I don't know whether I got in his way on his screen. It's not impossible. But all we need to do is actually shouldn't be fighting. We should just be eating the Falcon. But I think yeah, Herbie makes a mistake and he hits a bumper. So he's now got a big deficit. And I think I just get past Rio. Yeah, there we go. So the question, oh yeah, he has another mistake. So it looks like Herbie had 2 big mistakes, and that's a shame for him. So yeah, that's how close it is. Just a few bumps. And you don't you survive. So that's kind of a shock, I suppose. But again, that's how competitive it's already getting. Yeah, so there we go. So as me and Ryu through, Herbie and Alien knocked out. So I'm pretty pleased. I've gone about as far as I expected to. Top to advanced fell. I only Falcon left. So again, CMP tracks behind. We don't know what they are. So, but we're all left. We've seen everyone had the same idea, saving Falcon or Goose. I'd rather have Falcon than Goose, as much as I like playing Goose, because some tracks that Goose is bad at. It really hates Sand Ocean. It doesn't like 5 field. It really doesn't like white land 2. Unless you can do the double jump or get lucky with back bump, that's really hard. Then yeah, and then we get to the so these are the tracks. So there was actually the finale tracks. So the irony, the SK's back. He could have been Fox. He should have been Fox again. he would have. It would have been better for him than the Goose, I would say. Not necessarily Silence, but certainly the other two. But it's hard to tell. Falcon is certainly the best choice, I think. So yeah, we get a great start. Sort of get a great start. I don't know what happens there. We just sort of had some incredible acceleration out of that corner. Like there was time trial, which is good. So Taco makes some kind of mistake, and was he made? Yeah, no, he makes a few mistakes. Actually, Taco is a bad race, but I don't know. But Cal and TSK just sort of push each other forward, and just go ahead. So. Yeah, I boost really early because you know, it's faster. As you can see, I went from being behind Cal to being in front. So if you do that properly, it's faster to boost. I'm using the map to figure out when to start boosting. Oh. What helped us manage to catch up, I think, because I hit that bumper. It cost me a little bit of time. So yeah, extremely close between the three of us. Oh, and then I make a big mistake there, and that pretty much ends any chance of getting top 2 in this first race. But we just keep Taco behind me. Yeah, let's skip to the next race. Yeah, pretty quick. 45 is not slow. So it's a pretty high standard we're seeing. As it should be, because the top 2 get to the final. So it's I get the best possible start. In a theory, in practice, I can't really get any back bumps from there very easily. But if you start in the middle, you might have more of a chance. So it depends what machine you are as well. Fox doesn't really care about back bumps. Yeah, I just have to look at them. Taco does the double jump, which I don't dare. Falcon is less vital. Goose is a lot more vital because it accelerates you. And Ray as well. If you, I see that's one of the reasons why I don't like playing Ray. It's too much pressure. And all I can do is keep these guys in sight. Try and keep the points close. And Count makes a big error. Hits that bumper. And you see DSK really struggling this goose. It's not a nice goose track. You do need to get back bumps. You can, and if you do it, you know, you can certainly survive and do well in tough lobbies. I see how nervous I am. I actually go wide by about a mile. So it's just about keeping it together. Which is all you can do. Right? You can't force the issue. You can't get a skyway or crap like that. But you can. All you can do is just keep driving. Don't make any mistakes. One more lap. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And it's easy to make mistakes. Bumpers are hard to avoid. There's no bigger there's no great insight there. They are difficult. They are punishing, particularly in Classic. Particularly when you're boosting, because you can't move as much when you boost. But you may have noticed Taco went 4th and 1st, I went 3rd and 2nd, Calt went 2nd and 3rd, and DSK went 1st and last, or 4th rather. Which means, once again, we have a tie, but we have this time a 4-way tie, which is pretty incredible. So really could not be any closer. It's literally one race, and everything hinges on it. Which is exactly what you want, right? I'm sure this has been fun to spectate. A little bit harder. Very high pressure to play, and it certainly would have been fun to watch. So DSK starts 4th for whatever reason. I don't know how they work out at the seedings when everyone's tied, but somehow gets percent. I make a huge mistake, really unforced error. They just go wide. There was no reason for that. No one had pushed me. I just messed it up. But I'm still keeping fairly close to them, as long as I don't make any more mistakes. And again, you know, it's like the last one, last round in this final race. Just get top 2 and you're through. But I think I can do that really well. I do gain a little bit of time. Calt makes a bit of a mistake, or at least he's sort of hampered by the bumper. And after all that, we're actually right behind Calt. And we get a better exit, but he's going to take a bump off me and go ahead. So my night turning is really good, I would say. For what it's worth. If you know what a night turn is. If you don't, then you can actually watch this video. And then, yeah, I hit that bumper. So as you can see, it's really easy to hit bumpers. I saved the boost because, you know, I'm thinking I gotta just stay with the strategy and not panic. The strategy, of course, is the boost here. So you might notice Calt seems to boost really late. Or have kind of strange way of boosting. Again, the thing about boosting early there is that you've got to navigate those S's, and it's easy to lose speed. So you can, if you're going down to 420 or below, you're losing a lot of time. If you hold the boost though, you can sort of navigate part of those S's, and it's easy to maintain the speed. So it's a bit of swings and roundabouts. In a sense, it's slower to boost later, but it's easier to maintain the speed, and you don't end up losing most speed. So it's supposed to be safer. So it's DSK really, like, Goose just does not like this track. See, I'm just getting ahead of him. I would really Calt delays the boost, and he gets hampered by the bumper. You can't really see it was a netcode, but you can see he may have hit the wall afterwards. So because he saved the boost later, he doesn't regain control fast enough, and the bumper gets in his way. So whereas my exit is perfect, I'm almost at above 440 coming out of those S's, which is really as good as you can hope for. It's almost time trial level. DSK gives me a little bump, very nice of him, and we get a perfect or near perfect line through that chicane. And we've got a little gap now. So from looking hopeless, we boost immediately, and we get a great exit. We're above 4. We don't go below 440. I have to blast turn to avoid that bumper, I think. Night turn again. We're both not going below 440. Really, really good. DSK had an excellent finish as well, but he couldn't catch me. I had a really, really threw it away with that lap 3 boost. So after all that, somehow I've cut past these two guys. Two players I wouldn't expect to beat. To be honest, but yeah. And obviously Taco was also racing. Taco was also there. He'd gone away from the rest of us, which isn't a surprise. So sort of my rule, my sort of plan in part was trying to avoid Taco, and obviously there's no way you'd be doing it because it's all kind of it's very jumbled up. It's very hard to judge, but I didn't want to face him because I know how good he is. I definitely didn't want to go up against his Falcon because I know his, you know, the Iskin Count. I wouldn't expect to beat certainly, but I think I can kind of match them with Classic as in the same machine. Taco, I wouldn't say I could. I think he tends to win whenever we have little private events. Look at that, 3 PBs, 3 big PBs as well. So that tells you the standard here is the required standard to survive. I'm literally going faster than, well, certainly I managed in the public, probably in the private as well. Getting below 3 minutes is not easy, so getting, you know, a 3 minute 58 is not bad at all. So that's exciting. That was exciting. So let's just pause these guys' names on. So as I said, what we see is the preliminary rounds, four knockout rounds. Now the final comes. The final is 4 CMPs, and the idea is this time we know what the tracks are just before it starts, not begin with. So we know what the next CMP is at this point, so we can pick the machine, but we don't know what the CMP afterwards is on the next 3. So we just know the next one. And the 3 finalists, me, Claire, Evie, and Taco. So there's more people there. Fionn and Herbie were spectating, so you can ignore them. But us 4 got through the other semi-final, or the other round on the other side of the draw, I suppose. But the one Claire and Evie went through was a total bloodbath, apparently. And somehow Shelius and Vio both crashed out, and Evie crashed out. But Evie got through on the basis that they crashed out last, or they crashed out after everyone else had crashed out. So, and Claire actually finished. So that I don't know if there's even any footage of that. Total mess of a CMP. So this CMP is going to be Mute City 2, Big Blue 2, and then something else. RC2, I think. Yeah, next CMP tracks revealed only. So we know what this next one is. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. But it's certainly, looking at the tracks, they looked immediately like Goose tracks. I didn't want to do Ray. I was saving Ray for one particular track. And I also felt going Goose was okay. It was Moose City 1, Big Blue 2, Red Canton. Okay, well, it's close. But I felt so Evie and Claire were both going to Expert. Classic Royale, as the event's called. So I expect I could beat them. I also very confident with Goose anyway, so I expect going against anyone's Goose of 1 or 2 exceptions, I can certainly beat them. So I'm going into this confident I can, you know, at least take second every race. With Taco's Ray, I expect him to win. He's a good enough Ray tracks that he shouldn't have a problem beating us. And I get an amazing start, so it couldn't go better. And I mess it up. So you can see the map at the bottom. Right, the huge lead I had, I could have easily carried to the end, and maybe even won. Now Evie is a really interesting player. They're extremely good. They're also play kind of strange. And one of the things that they do here, which you'll see, is that they actually go into the pit. I don't know why they go into the pit. It's certainly not faster on Classic. Obviously, yeah, and then I make a huge mistake there, and then Claire comes along and saves me from total disaster. But he should be exiting that corner in around 420 or 440, I think, possibly. Maybe 430, I can't remember, but certainly I shouldn't be going 200 as a disaster. But you can see Taco's already ahead of us, and there's no real doubt that Ray is going to win this if he doesn't make any mistakes, so that's not really a concern. Again, you just gotta, because the way, if it wasn't obvious, we have 4 CMPs. There's going in the pit again. And Evie was doing Master 90. The Master GGP 99 event, so it was all in, whatever. Just doing the CMP, sorry, the GPs in the normal 99 mode, and they won. Well, they survived. They survived more than one, which is really incredible. And I've seen them survive as Fox, and I don't know how they got past me, but they did. And they put me in the wall. So that's not good. It turns out that Evie and Claire are actually extremely good as Goose. They're actually really, really strong. So I've already dropped points compared to what I was really hoping to do, and obviously Taco takes it. So But yeah, but Eevee's actually extremely good, but will do strange things like Pit Classic, so figure that out. I've seen them survive GPs as Fox in big events, like the Japan versus rest of the world. I think he survived once, which, like, you know, not a lot of people dare to even try, let alone actually do. So this is strong, and Claire's is even though neither of them are S50, they're actually both really good. I don't know why they're not S50. I don't know. I actually have no idea, to be honest with you, but they only play private lobbies, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so Big Blue 2. Big Blue 2 is kind of a... It's interesting because you'd obviously want to be Ray. Ray is obviously a lot stronger, but and Ray should always win. In this kind of situation, Ray should win. Where if everyone else is Goose, or everyone else is anyone else. But it sort of stops you playing Falcon because a Goose should always beat a Falcon in Big Blue 2. And Fox is just totally non-competitive. So that sort of meant that it was either Goose or Ray, and this is kind of the track that forced everyone into Goose. So he makes a big mistake there. But Eevee's just gone. I mean, it's pretty... I kind of realise, oh dear, these are actually... maybe should have gone Ray, almost thinking, and then I tried my luck with fighting Taco instead of these guys. But again, knowing how good Taco is, as that was the strategy, was to not actually go machine versus machine, that's to try and beat him by machine picks. Which is maybe doing myself a disservice, I don't know, but again, that's part of the dynamic as well. You're kind of like before when I was thinking, do I go Ray or Falcon in the third round? I'm trying to weigh up how good the players are. Do I want to risk going against a stronger player or using a weaker machine? Again, it's the dynamic that keeps it interesting. It's a very interesting format. It's the first time we've seen it. Hopefully we'll see it again. I'd hope that... so Taco... I don't think Taco won there. I hope we see this format again. It was I think a very successful experiment. So let's see the results there. Yeah, so Taco didn't win somehow. So again, I'm talking about how good these geese are. Claire's gone and held off Taco, and he was very close. So I'm 10 points behind them. So I'm really going badly. But also Taco's drop points. So I think he ground bonked. He ground bonked in the jumps, which he really shouldn't be doing. So yeah, he shouldn't be ground bonking. Again, this is another good. This RC2. This is another good Goose track because it's better than Falcon at it, and because it's simple. There are very few corners. There's a lot of jumps, so you don't have to worry about acceleration that much. But obviously Ray's better. That's kind of the problem Goose has. It's not that Goose is bad. It's that everything Goose is good at, Ray's better. As Eevee, perhaps forgetting it was not RC1 and going towards the maybe trying to skip, I don't know. So so my exit is excellent, and you see we can physically, like you can see, I just closed that gap a little just by having a really good exit. And Eevee went to the pit again. And I forget the boost. I'm actually forgetting it's not RC1. You do want to use it there consistently in RC2. You should be willing to risk messing up here, which obviously, you know, if there are little bumpers that can happen. I think Claire is saving boosts. This is kind of a strange. Again, it's just, I've been beaten. Like, I mean, we saw Claire win earlier, but I've been beaten plenty of times by her, and she just save a boost sometimes. So sometimes it works, but I think here you've got to use it through those tight corners, and you just got to be able to save your speed for there. So I think Taco pampers V, and we're actually, even though we actually do clip the wall, we get a far better exit. So it's looking like we're actually going to take second in this one. Now I don't know what happens here, but the EV for whatever reason crashes out. Nobody can explain this. I don't know why they did that. I don't know what they were doing. They didn't need to do that. I don't know if it's an accident or not. But there you go. Just another event. Weird happening here. So yeah, I don't understand what was going on there. So what's let's look at it again. Third place, but EV didn't finish, so gets 0 points. 5 behind Claire, 25 behind Taco. It's not good. It could be a lot worse, to be fair. Taco at least dropped some points. The second CMP. This time I am picking Scorpion, and maybe you can guess why. As for everyone else, Taco can't go Ray, so he's Scorpion by Scorpion I mean Ray. Taco's and Goose, and for reasons I don't understand, Claire and Evie go Falcon. I suppose they felt that there could be better Ray GPs out there. I don't know what they were expecting. So it's an interesting choice. I think there's always a temptation to save Ray to the end, but you've got to twist at some point, I think. And you can't really get better than Sand Ocean for Ray. So out of those three, the first two are strong Ray tracks, and the third is kind of balanced, but I'm pretty confident of Silence. So I felt, well, my choice, my goal, and as a little bump from the CPU. My goal was really to get 300. If I was going to pick Ray, I wanted to pick it on a CMP. I could get 300, and being the only Ray in the Sand Ocean pretty much makes it trivial. I do go in the energy there since it's there. I did actually take a bit of damage that lap, so sometimes you do go. Sometimes you do need to go to the pit. It's not always a joke. So yeah, we don't see anyone again for the rest of this race. So what's the point? I talk about other things, or just the event in general. So yeah, pretty good events, well organized, well done. Love success for the F-Zero Discord. Many different events, public and private. So this will be a private event. You got to apply. You've got to, in some cases, you got to give some proof of your own skill, depending on so that they can put you in the correct rank. So there was another classic event. This is the Mahjong event. This is free. This is an open event for anyone who applied, and then there was the Classic Royale event, which was split up into different lobbies based on skill. I was put into Master, as I possibly said earlier, as was Taco, and then Claire and Evie were both in Expert. I think I mentioned that. So, and that's just running. That's just 20 people in classic races. So a little bit more traditional. I'll definitely comment because I went Goose the whole way through that. I did fairly well. But we're still here in Mahjong, so yeah, not much to talk about. Sand Ocean is always a pain if you're not Ray. So Taco 215 is pretty good for Ray. I really struggle Ray at Sand Ocean. think it's probably the worst. 1 for Goose. Sorry, I really struggle for Goose and Sandwich, so I think it's probably the worst for Goose. So let's just try and skip ahead. Yeah, so the goal is get 300. I'm kind of surprised that at least one of the Falcons didn't get past him, but. So yeah, but there's also public events as well, all held by the Discord, which you can just, turn up and play if you see it. If you're in the Discord and they see it there, and, there's no prerequisites. So yes, there's 2 classic events and there's 2 99 events. And there's a team battle event. I did the 2 classic and the 2 99. With varying levels of skill. So first of all, I don't know what Eevee's done. They've toddled off somewhere, but we actually get a really good first lap. We finished the jumps at 478, so there's no mistakes there. I know Taco made a mistake. He ground bonked, which you really can't do. You can't get away with that. As Ray, which is why he actually wasn't able to win in the first GP, in the first MP. So yeah, so we just. Without bearing down on Taco, he had a really good first lap actually. So we've got a work cut out. So there are different ways to approach that. I always try and land quickly off the first jump, and then sort of go around the magnets. It's not the fastest, but it is. I find it safe. Yeah, so I do hit that magnet, I go over that magnet, then I hit that jump. So if you watch time trial, an Eevee crashes out for reasons I don't quite understand. Very strange. So yeah, pretty good. Just eke out first past Taco. So I'm doing all I can. It's beginning to look like me and Taco are going to break away from Claire. And Eevee is still sitting on 0 because they crashed that twice. Yeah, okay. So 1-200, 190, 180. Silence. So as I said, silence. Those first 2 are quite strong for Ray. But this is kind of balanced. But I'm fairly confident in silence. I'm confident I can beat these guys. So again, yeah, so starting at the front, it's, in a sense it's easier, but you'd rather start in the middle of the front row, not the left, even though it's further to the front, because it's easier to get back bumps. I'm not too far away, we're sort of bearing down on them a little. And of course the big strength, barely avoid that bump, but the big strength of Ray is that it can carry its speed through that last corner. And that's what you got to get used to if you want to do well. Yeah, we're gonna Taco. Not a great silence from him so far. I think he makes a mistake. No, not yet. I make a mistake, actually. I think he bumps me, though. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. So he saved me there. Now we're bearing down on Claire. Yeah, and we just knocked the wall. This time, yeah, I get a back bump, but this time I save the boost, so it's harder to make mistakes, and Taco makes a mistake there. I still make a mistake myself, but luckily I've done the hard part. I had a decent first lap, and that really sets you up. You can make a few mistakes afterwards and not worry about it. No, actually break that. I boost early. I boost early because I have to. It's either boost early or risk throwing it away. So I had to do that gamble. Like if I'd waited until the corner of the boost, I probably wouldn't have won. So yeah, pretty good. 300, and even better, Taco actually dropped more points. So after these 2 GPs, I'm not far away. I really did expect to struggle to compete with Taco. But so far, pretty much neck and neck. And that's despite the really messy first GP. So maybe... well, I think I've definitely... I mean, I got what I wanted out of Ray. I got 300 points. That was my view. If you pick Ray, you better pick it. GP you can get free on MP. You can get 300 points in. There we go. 3 PBs. So another 3 PB MP. So that puts us very close. I think 5 points behind. Yeah, there we go. So we can see on the right column, Taco on 575. I'm on 570, and Claire's on 550. EV is on 0 somehow. Now this was interesting. Everyone just went Fox. As I did really, I think I was probably spinning at some point, hoping to bait someone to Falcon or make someone change the decision. But this Falcon is obviously faster in all 3 of these tracks. With the possible exception of Sandstorm 1, it's kind of the closest because it's so small. But certainly, this one is a good Falcon track. And Falcon can pretty much always beat Fox. I start right at the back and I get hampered by all those spots annoyingly. And then I go into the rough, so pretty terrible start. But everyone looked at this and went, okay, this is clearly Fox. Which is understandable. In my case, I mean, it's definitely not a good Ray selection. So that makes, well, it's SS1 isn't a great Ray track, RC2 is, so it's kind of balanced, but it's not, you wouldn't really want to go Ray. They're not perfect Ray tracks. And, you know, Deathwind's, even though Deathwind and Classic Ray can do okay in Deathwind, it's it's such a short track and everyone else is going Fox, you may as well use it. But that's for Evie and Claire. For me and Taco, we both have Falcon and Fox. So the question is, do I go Falcon and gamble on another 300? Because certainly I would expect to win Deathwind and I expect to win RC2, but you run the risk of getting really bad tracks for Fox in the last CMP. So that's the gamble you have to take. So I did what I said I wasn't going to do and I didn't want to do, which is match machines with Taco. But I think this might have been, well, I just don't know. I think it's just too much of a gamble to hold on to Fox for the last round, because you really don't know what you're going to get, and you can easily be screwed. Because these first 2 tracks were good enough for Fox, it made a lot of sense to go Fox. That's really the logic. But of course, when you look back, you can speculate and say, well, maybe I go Falcon, I win this race, you know. Alright, one race down, Sandstorm 2. A good Fox track, because it's so short, it's very windy. But Falcon can beat it, and you know, if you get a right start, Goose can beat it too. The presence of the boost certainly helps Fox and Falcon. Falcon and Goose more than it helps Fox, but again, it's just such a small track, and there's this section in particular where Fox doesn't really lose anything. So Claire gets a great start bar, and Taco, I think, sneaks past me. Yeah. He navigated that end section really well. Claire still ahead, so And Claire's actually gaining on us, so he's gaining on me. And Taco's exit there is really good. So it's looked like maybe we're going to get sniped again, but Claire makes a big error. And I actually get a boost off the bumper, I think. It's quite amazing. So, this thing about Fox. Fox is... I think I probably mentioned it before, but Fox certainly... It separates the experts from the masters, I think, because it's just such an awkward car to drive. And Taco doesn't hit that red earlier, but he does get hampered by it because he has to avoid it. And I'm able to get past him. So pretty good. That's a big shock. I wasn't expecting that. So machine to machine, actually just beating them. Yeah, I'm pleased with myself. So that ties up this MP so far. And a CPU 8. Yeah, so 195 versus 180 versus 165. So for some reason I start right in the left. But I think I'd rather have started with Taco did. Yeah, he gets a good start. I'm just following him. You see, he's getting a little... And I think possibly Claire saves a boost. I don't really understand what's going on behind me. But that's okay. I think yeah, I take a big hit on the wall, but we actually don't lose that much time because I think Taco did the same mistake. So all I can really do is just put the pressure on. You know, you can't force the issue, you can't get a skyway. Actually mess up there. All I can do is make him understand if he makes a mistake. If he loses time to bump or whatever, he's going to, you know, I'm going to beat him. That's all you can do. And there's no, you know, that you just got to keep on trying. Like we saw earlier, you know. And amazingly enough, Taco does make a mistake. Totally unforced error. And with that, we actually have a big chance of winning this CMP. Yeah, we don't do a great job there, but it doesn't matter, we got the lead. So Taco threw it all away, and we go into the... So, and that gives me a 5-point lead in this CMP. And so, we actually get a... If you remember, yes, there we go. 295, 290. If you remember, I was 5 points behind overall before. Now, it is tied. It's tied at 865 between both of us. Claire, another 45 points down, is probably it was really not able to catch up unless they're crash outs. So despite everything, we've somehow made it to the very final MP, and it's totally neck and neck. So obviously that's a huge shock for me. I was just hoping to keep it competitive, but here I've got a real chance of winning. And here we go. 3 pretty good Fox tracks, ironically enough. So I think Falcon will always win Mute City 4. I'm a little unsure on that, to be honest. But it's certainly the best Mute City for Fox, for what it's worth. So again, I was talking about good starts from the back. I just had a clear path, and I end up going past Taco. So that's what can happen. Even if you're starting at the back row, if you get that clear run, you can just end up with a huge, well, certainly a really good start. And I don't have a great exit, and you can leave that corner basically at max speed, certainly at the high 440. I was in the mid 430s, and Taco got a tighter line and saved more speed, so he just goes past me. So pretty bad. And that's the kind of make a move mistake there. So that's kind of the standard we're looking at. That kind of just tiny mistake can cost so much. Yeah, and I'm still not doing that corner right. I'm not cutting it properly. But with it's competitive. We're not done here with yet. So we actually, I think I do that part faster, but then I lose time here again. That's kind of interesting. What part you do fast and what part you do slow really shows up in this kind of format. I guess that's what makes it so interesting. So I try something here. So you may notice when you boost at the end corner, your boost is still carrying on when you actually cross the line. So I took a big risk. I decided, okay, let's boost early, because I don't think doing the same thing is going to help. Taco boost pass. We get first place. We don't get the cutscene. And somehow that gambit worked out. So we had a great exit. We exited in the high 40s. And even better, Taco didn't want, and we actually drew. So I was forcing Taco to the left because he didn't want to bump into me, because obviously then I'd win. And we cross-lined literally the same frame, so pretty incredible. Which means we're still tied. We're still tied after the first race, which is, I'd say, unprecedented in any big event. And again, this is a very different event. You don't get this in the 99. It's just because it's all big and battle royale and kind of chaotic. But when you boil it down to just 4 players, we've seen so many ties, and that was another one. So yeah, so despite going toe to toe with Taco's Falcon, I'm still in it. Yeah, he's always getting that bump. This is another point to make. Sometimes you just have to take the hits, and unfortunately that start was just better for Taco. Luck goes both ways. I had a really good start in that last race, which I kind of squandered. But here I had a bad start, but you just got to keep on going. He was always going to get that back bump. Right, there's nothing I can do about it. So the goal now really should be keep the race behind me. If I can keep it to 5 points going into the last race, it's anyone's play for. So I don't know. I think Evie hit a bumper and Claire hit something or did something, save the boost maybe. I don't know what they were doing. All I know is that the Rays are behind us, and we hit a bump. But we actually that's it's an amazing save. That's the reflexes to do that is actually quite amazing. Because I hit the bumper, hit the wall. Oh yeah, and then I do that. So then I gamble. I do the same gambit I pulled off in Mute City. Only I don't actually pull it off. I actually hit 2 bumpers, hit a wall, and here comes Claire. And Claire pushes me over the line, but I think I'm third. Yeah. So unfortunately, in trying to win, I actually messed up. I was really stupid. You can't win it in the second race, but you can definitely lose it. And I made it hard for myself going into the last race, where I should have just kept it to 5 points, and then it's in control, right? So I can win, and Taco it would end up in a tie, but if it's only 5 points. But 10, you've got to try and fit a Ray between me and Taco somehow, which is certainly possible. It is Silence 2, which is a strong Ray track, so there's nothing stopping Claire and V getting in the way. So yeah, so the tie is finally broken. 10 points to Taco. Silence 2. So final race. So Fox threatens to give me a bump and then just doesn't. So I'm trying to get the inside of Taco. It looks like he gets ahead, but I don't know what happens there. He just gets... maybe I get a back up. I'm not sure how I get so much speed, but I don't care. I'm ahead of him. And this is exactly what I need. Now, Taco boosts, which is a big surprise. I don't know why he does that. I don't think it's faster. But unfortunately for me, I then can't get that. I can't hit that jump. So and then I'm below max speed, so I don't want to cut it aggressively because I don't know if I can reach it. So that boost changed the bumper pattern from Taco, but it changed the bumper pattern and meant I missed the jump. So I don't know if that was intention, but that's what happened. So I don't know whether that was just what he always does or whether it was, 4D chess kind of thing. But I'm keeping that in mind for the future. That's a pretty effective strategy. If I boosted with him, I probably would still be ahead of him because I wouldn't have had that difficult bumper. And here comes Eevee. And yeah, I think I had a D-pad moment there. So, yep. 4th place. So, there dies a dream of winning a GGP event. So, I guess GG's to everyone. All finalists, all the competitors, a lot of really good master level and expert level players didn't make it. So I was pretty surprised and pleased to get to the final. Pleased to keep it competitive. And yeah, I think Taco, I would have said he was the favorite going in, and that's what happened. But wasn't such a simple path to victory. They kind of wonder, if I'd gone Falcon and I get 300 against 285, that would have given me a 10-point lead. Could I sneak past them in MC4 or Silence 2? You don't know. You always gotta use kind of questions. If I just been a little more sensible in RC1, could I have kept it at 5 points, evened it up by the end of that MP? Whatever. You can only speculate. These are the final results. GG's to Taco. Really, congratulations everyone who got to the final. Good event. Yeah, hopefully we see something like this again. If you made it this far, thank you very much. I'll hopefully have a similar commentary for the Classic Royale, which was just 8 CMPs, full field with a full field of 20 players. So they're kind of big Classic events, but this was fun. Good event.